What happens when the SUV that already owns the driveway decides it's done playing defense? You get something bigger than a redesign. You get a power move. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid doesn't just update America's best-selling compact SUV, it resets the tone for what mainstream luxury, efficiency, and everyday capability are expected to feel like. And the wild part is, Toyota isn't easing into this next chapter. It's going all in, pushing the RAV4 into an exclusively electrified era that could end up defining the next wave of daily driver performance. This is the 6th generation RAV4, and it arrives with the confidence of a vehicle that knows exactly how much market gravity it carries. For years, the RAV4 has been the rational choice, the safe bet, the one everybody recommends. But this new one looks determined to be more than the sensible option. It feels like Toyota looked at the segment it helped dominate and decided domination wasn't enough. So now the bestseller shows up sharper, tougher, more digital, more deliberate, and far more ambitious. Hybrid power is no longer the side story here, it is the story. Every 2026 RAV4 is electrified, either as a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. And that alone changes the conversation. This is no longer a gas SUV with an efficient variant. This is a statement from one of the biggest names in the game that the future is not coming quietly. It's already parked under the lights. And then you see it. The stance is cleaner, more upright, more planted, like the entire body has been tightened around a stronger core. The new hammerhead front end gives it a harder stare, a more technical face, and the proportions lean into the RAV4's SUV identity instead of softening it. The lines are sharper, the over-fenders feel more intentional, the body sides look chiseled instead of inflated. There's tension in the sheet metal now, the kind that makes a familiar nameplate suddenly look expensive. In core trims, the paint-matched grille gives it a sleek, polished presence. In woodland form, the whole thing takes on a trail-ready edge with raised visual attitude, integrated lighting, and the kind of rugged detailing that makes a weekend escape feel built into the design. And in the sportier versions, especially the ones wearing darker trim and larger wheels, the RAV4 starts to carry itself with an energy that's closer to a performance crossover than a family default. It doesn't beg for attention, it pulls it. Open the door and the transformation continues. The cabin is no longer content to feel merely practical. It wants to feel engineered, curated, modern. The layout is driver-focused, clean and visually lighter, with a thin bezel center display floating through the dash like it belongs in something wearing a much bigger price tag. The surfaces appear more architectural, the horizontal lines widen the space, and the new center console packages the essentials with more style than before. The shifter, the cup holders with a removable divider, the armrest and storage bin with its two-way closure. It all feels designed for the rhythm of real life, but with a little more ceremony. Across the lineup, Toyota gives the RAV4 a standard 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and that alone changes the visual atmosphere from economy-minded to contemporary. Then there's the ambient feel of the seating position itself, elevated, commanding, and relaxed. The classic SUV view, now wrapped in a cockpit that looks prepared for the next decade. In the upper trims, details like a panoramic roof, ventilated front seats, and available JBL audio push the experience further into premium territory. This isn't opulence for the sake of flash. It's confidence expressed through usability. Then comes the part that matters most in America, how it moves. And here, Toyota seems to understand that efficiency without energy is no longer enough. The 2026 RAV4 Hybrid is expected to deliver 226 combined horsepower in front-wheel drive form and 236 horsepower in all-wheel drive models. And those aren't just better numbers for a brochure. They change the personality of the vehicle. The hybrid now has more purpose off the line, more urgency in the mid-range, and more of that seamless electric torque that makes everyday driving feel expensive in the best way. Toyota says this new generation hybrid system also improves smoothness between gas and electric power. And if that holds up in the real world, it could be one of the biggest upgrades nobody notices immediately, but everybody feels. This is the kind of powertrain that doesn't scream for a racetrack. It wins you over at the traffic light, on the merge, in the passing lane, and halfway up a mountain road with a cabin full of gear. Add up to 3,500 pounds of towing in certain configurations, and the RAV4 stops sounding like a compromise and starts sounding like a smart flex. And the efficiency numbers still hit hard. Depending on configuration, Toyota rates the new hybrid at up to an estimated 47 miles per gallon in the city and 40 on the highway, with front-wheel drive models reaching 43 combined. Even the all-wheel drive versions stay impressively efficient. And that matters because this SUV isn't chasing economy with bare minimum performance. It's trying to give you both. That's the magic trick. The RAV4 has always understood the American obsession with utility, but now it's pairing that with a cleaner, sharper kind of momentum. Less guilt at the pump, more range for the week, more confidence when the road opens up, less friction in daily life. The result is an SUV that could make a lot of buyers rethink what they actually need from the more expensive badge they thought they wanted. Technology is where the 2026 RAV4 may quietly land its most important punch. Toyota is bringing in its new Arene software platform here, which makes this SUV one of the brand's clearest steps yet toward a software-defined future. That sounds abstract until you realize what it means in practice. Faster interfaces, more integrated systems, smarter connectivity, and a vehicle architecture built to feel modern beyond the first week of ownership. The center touchscreen comes in a slim 10.5-inch format, or a larger, available 12.9-inch display, and both are designed to make the cabin feel cleaner and more current. Digital HVAC controls are integrated right into the bottom of the screen, cutting visual clutter without turning the experience into a maze. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. Dual Bluetooth phone connectivity is on board. Voice control is expected to respond faster. Available 5G connected multimedia sharpens the sense that this is no longer just a dependable Toyota cabin. It's a connected environment. Safety tech steps up too, and Toyota isn't treating it like a footnote. The RAV4 becomes the first Toyota model to receive Toyota Safety Sense 4.0. And that matters because when the bestseller gets the newest suite first, you know the brand sees this vehicle as a flagship for real-world innovation. Better detection capability, updated hardware, more intelligent intervention. Those upgrades may not look cinematic in a still photo, but they absolutely shape how modern a vehicle feels to live with. In upper trims, features like a head-up display and traffic jam assist push that experience even further, making the RAV4 feel less like a utility appliance and more like an active partner in the drive. And that's the shift Toyota appears to be aiming for. Not just an SUV that carries your life, but one that participates in it. What makes the 2026 RAV4 Hybrid so interesting is that it doesn't chase reinvention by abandoning the qualities that made it huge. Cargo space still matters here, and Toyota says you get up to 37.8 cubic feet behind the rear seats. The rear seat still has to work for adults, luggage, coffee runs, airport runs, and sudden weekend plans. The ride still has to be comfortable enough to disappear when you want, calm and composed enough to feel secure when weather or traffic gets ugly. This is where the engineering story underneath the styling becomes important. Toyota says the updated TNGA-K platform gains structural rigidity through reinforced joints and suspension mounting points, while a high damping adhesive helps reduce micro vibrations and road noise. That may sound like deep engineering language, but translated into real life, it suggests a cabin that feels tighter, quieter, and more substantial. In premium automotive language, that's the difference between a car that simply gets you there and one that makes the journey feel expensive. And the lineup strategy is smarter now. Toyota isn't selling one RAV4 mood, it's selling several versions of the same ambition. Core models like the LE, XLE Premium and Limited are aimed at the buyer who wants the classic RAV4 formula elevated. Clean styling, efficiency, practicality, and a stronger premium feel. The Woodland stands as the rugged expression, a standalone grade built for the people who want their daily SUV to look like it actually escapes the city. Standard all-wheel drive, available all-terrain attitude, raised roof rails, integrated accessory thinking, and a slightly more adventurous face give it a presence that feels authentic instead of performative. Then there are the sport grades, SE and XSE on the hybrid side, with even more attitude in the broader family, bringing dark trim, sharper contrast, and the kind of styling choices that tell you Toyota understands buyers don't just shop with spreadsheets. They shop with instinct, they shop with image. They shop with the feeling a vehicle gives them when they walk up to it at night. That emotional shift may be the real upgrade here. The old RAV4 was respected. This one looks like it wants to be desired. That is a different mission entirely. Desire changes how a vehicle lives online, how it lives in the driveway, how it lives in culture. It turns owner satisfaction into brand magnetism. It makes the practical choice feel like the right choice and the cool choice at the same time. For a premium cinematic audience, that matters, because the best modern vehicles are not just machines, they are mood setters. They are lifestyle objects. They communicate taste before they ever turn a wheel. The 2026 RAV4 Hybrid seems built to communicate that the owner values efficiency, yes, but also design, momentum, and a certain kind of low-key power. And let's talk about timing, because timing is everything in this segment. The compact SUV market is crowded, loud, and brutally competitive. Everybody has a contender, everybody promises technology, everybody claims efficiency, everybody is trying to look a little tougher, feel a little richer, and drive a little cleaner. So Toyota didn't just need to refresh the RAV4, it needed to remind the market who built the blueprint for this kind of all-purpose machine in the first place. By making the entire RAV4 lineup electrified, by introducing more style separation, by leaning harder into software and digital architecture, and by giving the hybrid meaningful power improvements, Toyota appears to be doing exactly that. It's not playing catch-up, it's protecting a throne. The beauty of the RAV4 hybrid formula is that its strength isn't locked to one moment. It works in motion from every angle of ownership. In the morning, it's efficient and silent enough to make rush hour less draining. At noon, it's connected and versatile enough to handle the spontaneous switch from workday to lifestyle. At sunset, with the body catching light across those sharper edges and the digital cockpit glowing cleanly inside, it suddenly has the visual payoff of something more premium than its badge might traditionally suggest. And late at night, on an open highway, with that elevated driving position, the quieter structure, the smooth hybrid surge, and the confidence of all-wheel drive if you've chosen it, the RAV4 begins to feel like the SUV version of effortless success. Not loud success, not insecure success, the kind that doesn't need to explain itself. There's also something quietly radical about Toyota making efficiency aspirational instead of apologetic. For a long time, hybrid branding in America lived in the shadow of compromise. You bought it to save gas, you tolerated the rest. That era is fading fast, and the 2026 RAV4 Hybrid may be one of the clearest proofs yet. Here, hybrid power isn't the boring option, it's the standard. It's the baseline expression of the vehicle's identity. That matters culturally because when one of the biggest, most recognizable SUVs in the country goes all in like this, it normalizes electrified performance at scale. It tells millions of buyers that the modern default is no longer a plain gas powertrain. The default is smarter, faster reacting, more efficient, and more future-facing. Toyota isn't just selling a product here, it's training the market. Of course, the real-world test will always matter more than the launch day promise. Interior material richness, road isolation, infotainment speed, steering feel, power delivery under pressure. Those things separate a good redesign from a great one. Early impressions suggest the 2026 model makes meaningful progress in acceleration, usability, and feature content, even if some observers still want more from the cabin's tactile richness or from the emotional side of the drive. But that may almost be beside the point for the target buyer. The RAV4 has never needed to become a sports car to win. It needs to feel sharp, refined, efficient, and unmistakably current. It needs to make ownership easy while making the vehicle itself look like a reward. And on paper, in studio light, and in the way Toyota is framing this launch, the new hybrid seems built to do exactly that. If you choose the front-wheel drive version, you're getting a hybrid RAV4 for the first time with a more efficiency-focused setup and a cleaner entry point into the lineup. If you go all-wheel drive, you're stepping into the more capable side of the range, with 236 horsepower and the confidence buyers still crave when weather turns or road conditions get messy. If you aim for limited, the RAV4 starts pushing into near luxury equipment territory. If you go woodland, it gives you a different kind of status, the kind that says your weekends matter as much as your work week. And if you land in a sportier trim, the RAV4 becomes an answer to the buyer who wants efficiency without visual restraint. That's the genius here.